So it's official. We are getting a brand new Splatoon game, and I'm here to talk about it today. For starters, I want to note on the fact that Splatoon 3 is getting a visual upgrade, and you know, that's cool because the Switch 2 is out. I have my reviews for certain things coming out later this week, of course, but gonna push that aside for now because they shadow dropped this new trailer for Splatoon Raiders, and it's exciting. Now, the question that a lot of my friends have had, actually, rather than the gameplay, like questioning some of the gameplay, is this game going to support mouse mode? Splatoon seems like the perfect franchise to maybe switch into mouse mode and gyro. Just saying, it could be a possibility. But this game looks heavily focused on story only, so I suspect there's going to be no competitive online in this game. It's just going to be a full story game, and in my opinion, I think that's good. I think the other Splatoon stories that we've had could have been expressed a lot more, and so now that we're getting official Splatoon story game, just expresses what they could have done with the previous story, but actually have more to it. The other thing I should mention is that this is going to be the first Splatoon game that is coming out on Switch 2 for Switch 2, which is exciting because they don't have to cross develop it. They can put power into this game finally, and it being a story game, they don't have to focus anything on multiplayer. Hopefully, I'm just speculating this, but you know, if this is a fully story game, it means they can use so much more power for this story. The other question I have is, where does this take place in the Splatoon story? Does it take place before Splatoon 3, or does it take place after Splatoon 3? And then the other question I have is, if it takes place after, will this lead into Splatoon 4 sometime within the next couple of years? As we know, Splatoon 3 is getting a update, even though they said that they were going to stop updating it after 2 years, and it hasn't had a weapons update or a map update in a while. But with this all going on, they are adding back a map from Splatoon 1, but also adding new weapons too. So the other thing that makes me wonder is this a holdover for a couple of years until we get another Splatoon game that fully is on Switch 2 and utilizes the hardware? And then we have the separate story game that if people just want the story, they can go and buy this game. But if they want that multiplayer, then they can go and buy Splatoon 4. And as a Splatoon fan, in my opinion, that seems a lot better. I really wanted Side Order to be like Octo Expansion, and it just didn't live up to the hype that I really felt it could have. And even looking at just the normal Splatoon 3 campaign, for me, it was a great campaign. Great. Don't get me wrong, but there felt like there could just be that bit more that puts it over the edge. Now, we don't know much about this Splatoon game in particular, but my suspect is that it will probably be open world, which I know seems a bit off hinge as Splatoon kind of has levels in a sense, but I think they'll keep those levels, but then also have open world levels that kind of relate to the world. So that way you get like a difference of two categories. And since this is the first trailer, I think that this is the tip of the iceberg of what they actually have to show us. I think there's so much more with this game that we don't even know yet. The other thing I do want to mention is that this game could be multiplayer. The stuff I was theorizing before of it being a single player game could totally be true, but this game could be just a multiplayer game as well. Like some of the ideas I've had is like they're calling it Raiders, right? Like not Raider, not Splatoon Raider, because if they called it Splatoon Raider, I have a feeling that it would be only you, right? But they're calling it Raiders. Now, whether Raiders refers to the characters of Fry, Big Man, and Shiver, or just to other players, it's definitely an interesting thing to think about it, because Salmon Run is kind of like an extraction already, but there is more that could be possibly added to that. Like a full, like we have whole separate areas where you have to get through the area and extract after getting a certain amount of eggs. And we have a game like this that's kind of like a revamped Salmon Run. Now, my hope is definitely a single player campaign, but I also just wouldn't be upset if it is a revamped Salmon Run. I think that would be crazy cool. And since it's a spin-off, who knows, maybe Nintendo could lower those prices for us, maybe. Anyways, a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to this game, and for in general, it's just exciting to finally get a look at what we could have for a Splatoon game on the Switch 2. And I won't lie, this game, even though I've theorized it, this game will probably lead us into Splatoon 4 within the next, I'd say, 2 years. But this is all just my speculation. I'm really excited. I know a huge amount of the community is excited around this. The Splatoon community has grown exponentially over the past couple of years. And who knows, this shadow drop could lead us down a rabbit hole of more shadow drops, and we could get a new 3D Mario reveal. I know that sounds crazy, but it is definitely possible. Donkey Kong Bonanza is coming out soon, which I will be streaming that, of course. But besides the point, Mario is a perfect holiday release for Nintendo, and it's just a good cash grab for them overall, and it means more people are going to end up buying that game because it's Mario, of course, and it leads for more Switch 2 sales too. So from Nintendo's perspective, it's a great way to line everything up in their domino effect. Now, before I end it, the last thing I want to mention is that we will probably get a Nintendo Direct sometime in this month. If not, my guess is next month, because they usually show off the holiday games or even like fall games close to around this time. But anyways, what do you guys think of this brand new trailer? What interests you the most? And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk very soon about my experience with the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World later.